A beautiful morning to you out there. I hope you're enjoying your day. It's almost midday, yes. The day is beautiful today here in Jos City. We're enjoying ourselves, and that's why we're here for you today on today's live. Good morning. In today's live today, we're going to be doing a sequel of what we were talking about yesterday, but this time around, we're talking healthy competition. And today, once again, we're having the same people on set, just different placements. Welcome, Joyce.
Good morning,
Good
Prudence.
morning. Good morning, Miss Engineer Tony.
Why did you start with Joyce?
No, because she's closer to me.
Okay.
Yes. It's not preference or anything.
Okay. Good morning to you.
Good morning. So we are continuing our discussion from yesterday. Yesterday we were talking on healthy competition, and today we are talking healthy competition. But before we continue, I would like to remind you that we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. We want you to drop your comments, and we'll take them real time here in the studios. So we're talking healthy competition today. Yesterday we made a background on, we made a whole deep discussion about unhealthy competition, how it affects us, and how it is detrimental to our success and our life in general, into life in general. So today we're going to be discussing healthy competition. What makes a competition healthy? What we're going to discuss, what makes it, what builds, what's the positivity of having a healthy competition, what makes it healthy for us. And we're going to be giving, so that we'll have a balanced information, so that you know when you're having a healthy competition and when you're not having one. So let's go into the conversation. I think we should start, right?
Yeah. Well, like you said, we started yesterday and we spoke about at length on healthy competition. We are talking about healthy competition today. Competition in itself, is it bad? No. It only becomes bad when it is unhealthy. And competition is as old as human race. It's just a fact of life. We see competition everywhere, like in businesses, amongst athletes, you see competitions, academics, competitions in politics, you see competitions interpersonally between two people, even intrapersonally, like within yourself, like you want to be better than maybe where you are, so you strive to grow. So it can build beyond the fact that, yeah, we spoke at length yesterday that when there's jealousy, there's envy, like it is unhealthy because it will lead to destruction. Obviously, you might attain heights where you strive to only be momentary if you are academics, in politics. Like when the competition is healthy, then it's going to build you. Like for me, I would say one key thing about healthy competition is motivation. Like there is a prize that you want to win, and the goal is for you to grow beyond where you are. The Christian race, for example, we're in competition. Christ has assured us of a crown at the end of our race here on earth. So while you're struggling, while you're trying to abide by the dictates of your belief, of your faith as a Christian, the devil is coming to present a lot of things to you that will distract you. Now it is up to you to still hold on to those dictates so that at the end of the day, you're going to win that prize. So when you compete with the aim of growing beyond where you are, then I think it is healthy. If there's no emotion that has to do with jealousy, envy, strife, anger, bitterness with self and others around you, then it is healthy.
They didn't ask me anything. Why are you looking at me?
Did
They ask me anything? They didn't ask me anything. They introduced you first on the show. My beef is long lasting if you don't know.
Please apologize.
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to introduce her first.
You introduce.
Actually, introduce. Okay.
If we are talking about healthy and unhealthy competition, I think we should review the highlights of yesterday. We talked about unhealthy competition and we asked, why do people engage in unhealthy competition? Just so that you get to my level. That's basically, we didn't say that actually, but if you are engaged in a competition with me that is unhealthy, it's just that you want to get to my level. How can your goal in life to get to my level, not higher? See, so I think this should give us the basis for today's roadmap. Because we asked yesterday, why should you want to be somebody and not know the antecedents laid for that person to become who he is that you are envying, to the extent that you engage yourself in a competition that is not healthy with such an individual, excuse me. You know, sorry, I ate chicken this morning, so. So let's think about it this way. That you want to be like someone for negative reasons. Definitely you would engage in an unhealthy competition. But if you want to be better than somebody, that is when you engage in a healthy competition. And this is how it works. I want to be like Joyce. That's more like I'm beefing Joyce. So let me get to that her level and see what next she will use to brag. She's head of this bar. Okay, let me also get to become head of this. Let's be at the same position. Wouldn't you rather want to be the overall boss so that she starts taking instructions from you? You see, so yesterday's topic on healthy competition, it broadened a lot of horizons for people. And we had a lot of people watching yesterday, and people made comments, people sent text messages and all that. And I think if you have not learned anything, you wouldn't be sending text messages and making comments, you know. But lest we steal from the healthy competition time, I would like to let people know, just like my sister here said, that is there something wrong in competing? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because everybody is in a competition, whether it's loud or it's not, whether it is told or it's not. We are just engaged in a competition. We are. Equa Television is engaged in competition. Of course, with the likes of CNN and the others. If you like, laugh at us, but we're getting there. It's not a is a positive competition. Everybody has. In fact, parents try to instill that spirit of competition on their children. Can't you see this person? You ought to. You can't be coming home with nines, with Fs. I remember one time your mother was telling you, why are you always Fs in 7, 8 subjects?
Telling me. Oh, for example.
Okay, so I'm lying on the set.
I want to understand. Is it for
So
example?
when she told you refused to hear, she now came and she called me. She said, look,
Wow.
I have a daughter out of 30 subjects. Have you ever had F in your life?
Yes.
How many?
I had one.
What about you?
I think that should be 2.
Wow.
But the second one was because they misplaced my grade somewhere.
Okay. So 1 + 2, that's 3. If you multiply it
At
by
secondary school level, oh.
if you multiply it by 40, it's not half the F's I
In
got in
secondary
my life.
school.
That was secondary
Secondary
school.
school, I
Did you
don't
hear
even
what I said?
remember.
If you
Wow.
your own and her own, that's 3 bar. Multiplied by 40 is not half the F's I got.
I'm tempted to shake you.
I had many F's. Many F's because we were the kind of students that would not go to class, we were the kind of this. But here we are today. You know? I was not bad. I was not illiterate. I was just not, I didn't get anybody to be in competition with. Do you understand? But I made it. I said I would become somebody better. That's when I started seeing the positive side of life and who I want to become. How can you want to achieve anything in life without people that challenge you? How can it's not just possible. You wake up and all you are thinking is, let me get to the office and see who is wearing something new. I have like 5 materials I'm trying to look. Every now and then you are thinking of how to look better and better. Just look better with empty head. You get the point. I'm just looking, who else am I challenging today? What else am I supposed to do today? But you see, you sit right next to someone in the office. The person is doing extremely well. But you don't care. You're like, they are the ones showing us. We dealt with that yesterday, unhealthy competition. But if you are wise, if there's brain in your head, you should be able to say, how does Jeff come up with beats like that? And I'm working with him, and me, I come up with beats that are not appreciated. If you are humble enough, you will engage yourself in a positive competition with him, a very healthy competition. You'll be like, Baba, show me the way now. Like, how do you do this? My kicks are always weak. My snare is always loud. The voices are always missing in the mix and all. How can you help me? You see, you are wise. But there are people that are struggling. They need help. But because of pride, they cannot own up. They cannot open up. They cannot say, Joyce, this your twisters. How do you get them so neat like that? At any time they do mine, they look like, they are not well. But if you want to be fashionable, you should engage in a competition with someone. The competition is not fighting the person. The competition is sapping knowledge from the person. You can't be foolish with your life. Day and age where everything is based on excellence. That's what it is. Because names of companies don't matter anymore. Name of individuals who get it right is what's trending. How did the people get it right? How do I involve myself in a competition with these people? There was one time I was with staff and I asked them, are you in competition? Basically, our presenters. And I noticed, yes, they have been in competition. But I noticed that the competition was an unhealthy competition. But right now, I can see that people are picking up from live within and outside the studio, outside the station, outside the office, so everybody's looking global to see that his work or her work speaks for her or him. So we are talking about competition. Man, everybody should engage himself in a competition for positive reasons. For positive reasons. I want to be known like Elon Musk. So I want to be, I'm in competition with him. Though he's not aware. I'm aware. He's not bothered. I am. Just like you are laughing right now. Keep laughing. But it's fine. It's just a matter of time. You say, one time he said it on air. And today there he is. And that's what it is, man. But we sit down and fight over useless things. We sit down and don't even bother about the things that should help us in life.
Yes.
It's sad. It's sad.
True. And you said we should be, for all the right reasons, we should be competitive for all the right reasons. And some of this reason is that you should, when you see someone that you think has gotten to where you're foreseeing yourself, I think it's essential that you look into yourself and then build your own potentials to reach that point or ahead of that person. And it's also important that you know that that person has a different skill set and yours is a different skill set. So you should focus on growing your own skill set so that you reach that point that that person is. If you don't do that, you're tilting towards unhealthy competition because you probably just be looking at, oh, this person is so awesome and I'm just so not awesome, and you begin to see yourself lower, and then you begin to do corny, like I was saying yesterday, you begin to do crafty things, like corny things, and just to get nasty things sometimes, just to get to that point that that person is. And you're killing yourself because you're not building yourself. You're just, you know how you want to set fire that should last, like burn long, and you want it to cook something, and then you begin to bring in hay and you're fixing it inside instead of wood and all that. So you know that the hay will just burn, then it will go down and just die. That's how you're living your life if you're not looking into yourself to better yourself instead of just looking at somebody else and making the person your soul. I think you should look more at yourself, continuously think of improving yourself to get to a better place than actually just focusing on somebody. That's when you're competing healthily. But if you begin to envy that person, you want to tear that person down, or you just want that person to maybe stay stagnant and wait for you to come ahead.
But who is still into tearing people down?
They still do it.
Yes. I'm just letting the people know how foolish they are, because the time is ticking on you. You fail to realize the time is ticking on you. While you were trying to pull someone down, the person is realizing that time is ticking on him. And the person is putting effort towards becoming a better human being. But you'll find out that for 2 years of being in a particular place, or of being in somebody's life, or of being a brother to someone, or being a sister to someone, all you have been doing was but you are busy. Tell me, between the time you are doing that and 2 years later, where would both of you be?
The person will be so ahead and you just be somewhere behind.
That's when you
Going
realize
back.
that you have missed it already. Like you have missed it a long way, when you are supposed to use that time to be thinking of how you can be better off, and then you've used it to slander, to break, to bring somebody down, and that person is busy building himself. That's seeing this healthy competition as something worth doing and worth engaging, in case you are not into it, because it compels us to do better than otherwise we could have done. Because you know, there are people that, yeah, my responsibility is just come drop this cup and that is all, and they are satisfied there. Like they don't strive to be better. But if you see that there's another person that is still has the same responsibility, but he does it timely, he does it in a way that it's better than how you are doing it, and then you see it as a challenge. I can actually do and passion, and if I'm able to put that to play, like you achieve more, and then you start working towards achieving. Good companies or organizations will not be giving staff of the year, because it's just a way of motivating people to do better. You see that every other person will say next year, they won't tell themselves, don't be jealousy or strife, but there's that push to be better. So ordinarily you can come to work early, but there's no punishment if you don't come early, but then there's a reward of the year. So it compels us to do better. Don't just be satisfied with where you are. You should be able to see colleagues that will come and say, Joyce, how do you do better than what it's not like what I'm doing is wrong, but there are things you engage in, but the world is not waiting for you. Like, will not sit down and just take anything from you. Be in your skill, like, that you need to develop. Because of the advent in technology, everyday things keep changing. So you have to be moving with time. You cannot just say, I just know how to shift this camera from this point to that, and that is all. When there are other methods that are coming up every day. So you can see somebody that is doing very well in that area, and, well, I want to be like like I want to even be better than this person. I want to be better than where I engage in that. It will make you to be better than you are. It will take you to even better places that
Than you think.
you can.
I fished out something from what you were saying. Motivation.
Yeah.
What motivates you into that competition? You know, is also something that determines the longevity of that competition. Because if you stay to compete with someone, let's take for instance, you are staff of the year, and then we said, because you are staff of the year, you get 10,000 naira extra on your monthly salary. And then what you did to become staff of the year is that a goal? No, it's not.
It's not.
Because once you spend that 120,000 a year, because if you multiply that by 12, that's what you get. So once you spend it, then what? You stop being motivated. What you work at XYZ organization, learn things because of life. People who study so that they can write exams, they don't turn out to be good architects or good doctors. Or no, when you study for life, because life does not announce to you when it is coming to you positively or negatively. It doesn't announce. It just comes to you. And it all depends on how armed. So what is the factor or the motivating factor behind the competition that you want to engage? I want to compete. The Bible says study to show yourself approved. So when you study, when you can give words better than him, you will not preach every Sunday. But you can preach once. And then it will be like for the next 6 months, people are talking about it. You have to. You have people who don't care about Nigeria as a country. So they engage in unhealthy competition with the positions that they have. Do you know why? They travel more than you and I. They've been to every part of the world, but they have not been able to development. They will tell you, I've been to America like 40 times in my life. Okay. All this while that you have been to this country, have you ever seen the country less than the other time? No. When you come back to Nigeria, what is the movie forward that you have seen? Nothing. So as a this or that you are, what are you doing in your own community to make Nigeria like to engage your community in a competition with the community that you lived or that you've been to? We don't have forward-thinking leaders. That's because they are not in competition with anybody. Have you heard people say, me, I'm not in competition with anybody. Oh, please just leave me. Let me do my own best. You are not in competition with anybody. Hello. And you are in this world in 2022. You have to be. You have to be. As a matter of fact, you have to be. Because you are is an individual. You have to be. Was that on air? So, sweetheart, you have to be. The truth of the matter is, if you don't need competition and you want to make it, please tell us how. Why do you want to make it? Because others have made it. It's competition. Why do you want to make it? Because XYZ people are in this cadre. Their names are the number 4 of this is the number 3 of this. So you want to be there. It's competition. Why did we send Nigerian team to the World Cup? Did they go?
They didn't go.
Okay, it's not
They
a
didn't
competition.
qualify.
Why did Cameroon go?
Yes.
Okay. Have they scored any match?
But they are back home already.
Oh, you are a football person.
Yeah.
Sports or football?
Sports.
Wow. Okay. God bless you. So Cameroon went, right?
Yes.
They went to do what? They went to compete. They went to have a healthy competition. Now, we will laugh and say, Cameroon, they are back home. We didn't went.
True. True.
Who is better? There was a competition. I'm sorry, that was We Didn't Go, if you're watching. There was a competition. I think there is we went for that competition. We didn't win. That's why we didn't go for this competition.
Yes.
So you see, life is about competition, and the competition you are engaged in right now is for a competition later you are not aware of. Whether you know or you don't know, there is this competition. Once you finally win it or lose it, there's another competition. So let's remember that anytime we are in competition is a set on for another competition. So life is about competition. As long as ECWA as a denomination, we don't see, does not see herself in competition. When you say competition, it's not rivalry. We're not talking about rivalry. We are talking about what do people do? Because the primary existence of every denomination is to win souls. If it's not, something is wrong. It's to populate the kingdom of God. How in this time and age? So if you are not in competition, you will start losing members.
Yes.
When you start losing members, whether you like it or not, you lose relevance. Because if you have the relevance, the members will not go. You have to be in competition, ma. What do we mean? Some people think to take 500,000 and buy a projector is a waste of God's money. But think about it. How useful is a projector to in edifying service? How useful? We have youths who don't even, there are people in this country right now, they have never held a Bible, a copy as their own. Never ever have they have never. They come to church with their phones and sometimes be projector and read the scripture. You have churches without good sound. You have churches that 50 years ago, how services were conducted, they are still conducted in this manner. No embellishment. We are not saying change the mode of service, but embellish it. Church is supposed to be an exciting place. But you see, because we are not in competition with anybody, we spend on the wrong things. I'm not saying ECWA now, I'm not saying cooking now, I'm saying churches. We spend on the wrong things. Some people make their cathedrals, their church, a place to worship. Sometimes when you think, my church is not even in competition, it's not, when I hope that they understand what I mean by competition. Because a church should be a cozy place. We have pastors that have traveled abroad, they have even preached in churches. How do you compete with places like that and your own? So when we're talking competition, we're talking a large topic. If we take competition all week next week, we will not exhaust it.
Yeah.
The whole aim is just to be better. If you understand this competition, this whole concept, that healthy competition is just geared towards building you, improving you, compelling you to be better than you are, then you won't even doubt like engaging in it. And then people waste time, like we spoke yesterday, you just waste time engaging on healthy competition. You can be better than who you are. Think towards the positive aspect of competition. You will be better, you will improve, life will be better. Like we see that in even political parties, they are looking at the failures
Yes.
of other party so that they can build on, come up with policies that will convince the people that, yeah, we can improve your life, we can make things better.
And believe me, Joyce, they get a lot these days.
Okay.
No, yes, the politicians that are in competition, they get a lot
Yes.
from things that they should compete
Yes.
with. With these few words of mine.
In school, at the end of the day, you hear at the assembly ground, they are calling the first three or the best three CGPA, and then there's an award or there's a reward.
They have never called me for anything. Never, ever.
Oh.
It doesn't define you.
Oh no, I'm in the same shoe, right? I don't think I can remember. Okay, no, they called me for.
They gave
Paris
Joyce
one time.
biscuit one time. You snapped it and enlarged it.
This was an award.
Is you know biscuit inside? Excited. And I told my dad, I said, they made me prefect. He said, oh wow, what prefect? I say assembly. He said, get out. He said, get out of this place. I'm like, they made me assembly prefect. Assembly I've never attended. I don't know who advised them. Is it not the person you see regularly?
Coming.
Is it not the person you see regularly at the assembly that you give? They gave me assembly prefect, assembly that I attend once a year.
So when we see the beautiful parts, when we think of the results, when we see the growth, I think we'll start engaging in competitions that will improve us.
And I think that's why Paul used the analogy of athletes in a track running a race when he was talking about the race of believe in Jesus Christ. He was talking about running the race so that you will reach the goal. He's there on the track, ready to run the race. And when he starts running the race, he follows the rules. But then he also isn't distracted by what somebody else is doing. He's focused on getting to that goal. And I think that's where a lot of us have lost it. You're not getting focused to your goal. Your goal is now to I don't understand whether you're trying to help the person.
To enter the person.
So if you don't have a goal and you are fighting an unhealthy competition, what are you fighting? To achieve what when you don't have a goal?
You just want to achieve
just
somebody
get lost.
else's goal. You become lost. You don't know what you're doing anymore. And your life just becomes
The Bible says the devil roars like a lion looking for who to devour. I'm just trying to bring it to the scenario given about Paul referring to athletes and all of that. We are all in a race. That's why I said it in the beginning, even as Christians, we're in this world today. Like we are running a race. And then in that race, which is Jesus, the devil is in competition, unhealthy one though. He wants to drag you away from the master. And he will keep coming with distractions that will make you to just forget about your goal, your target. And that is why it's very important that people know who they are. Why am I created? What is the purpose of God for my life? It's going to save you a lot of engagement in unhealthy competitions. Like, know yourself. What are my strengths? What am I called to do? Some people wake up without even knowing like why they are existing. Like, is this person that is blessed? Like, God has not been faithful to me. Don't talk about God's love. Like, they just feel they have neglected themselves to one particular position and they leave it. Like, that has been their confession, and it has been manifesting in how their life have been. So it's important. What is that thing that gives me joy? What is that thing that if I do, people are happy about it? Like, it leaves some kind of impact. Forget about that person that you want to wear that his shoe. You're angry or bitter that he's living his own life. And then if you have yours, don't carry yourself and put yourself in another whose own calling is in maybe ministration, songs ministration, and then you are busy living depression because you don't have the voice to point. If you don't know, you need to pray to God. Some of these things, like you need divine intervention in case you're unaware. Like, what is it that God has called me to do where you are? We are growing. The world is growing, is evolving, and as the world grows, as things change, you too have to. Not like you change from positive to negative. But how can I, with the advent of technology, I'm a teacher, I'm a preacher, how can I upgrade it in a way that people will still follow, understand my messages? And so we think towards that. And when we do that, I think we'll grow, we'll be better. Let's see these competitions as being motivated rather than seeing it as fight, as conflict. When you see somebody doing something and is good at it, get motivated to be better version of yourself. The General Secretary of ECWA during like this denomination, why can't we? He said when we do that, we become second version of them.
There's no originality.
There's no originality.
And then there was something he said, and I'm sorry, he said the gospel is the same. But the modality of taking the gospel out, oh my God. He said, this is one of the things you are doing. You are trying to take the gospel out in a different form. And he encouraged the young people. He said, you don't have to do it the way we are doing it. As long as you are preaching the gospel. Go ahead. Or you are done?
No.
Okay.
So, so he said that you don't have to be, when we behave like that denomination, we are second version of them, and we're neglecting our own primary vision of whose life. So it's important that you know, who am I? How can I improve on this thing that God has called me to do? Improve. Some people hate to hear the word competition generally. I'm not competing. But whether you like it or not, historically, it's part of the human race.
It is.
It is. So whether it is...
It's only God that is not in competition with anybody because He's almighty. You know, since you are not the one, okay, sip your drink.
In the show? Wow.
Sip your drink. Ekwa is trying for you. We just have to get it right. Like I said earlier, some people compete for the wrong reasons. If you compete for the reason that you want to become better, what you do, you want to become better. Honestly, there's no backwards. Because you wake up, just like Joyce said, you don't even know why you are out for the day. It's not so. They say, let the sleeping dog lie. I don't believe. Sometimes wake that dog up. Let it roar. Oh, you too, you roar. Hey, back, you roar. No, he cannot devour. He cannot. So they say the idle man is the devil's workshop. Now, you are not idle, but you got something to do. Now you are doing the thing, but you don't know how to do the thing further. You see why people quit sometimes? You see why people quit, boss? Attached to what you are doing. So you are not motivated. I was talking with someone yesterday. I said, my sister, don't responsibility. Work is not a place where you are shown appreciation. They give you a, what's it called? An appointment letter. And they told you are a cleaner here. When you clean, the appreciation is 20,000 naira a month. Did you collect the appointment letter? Yes. Are you cleaning? Yes. Are they paying the 20,000? Yes. What are you looking for again? Okay, the company said that 20,000 is what they are paying cleaners. 40,000 is what they are paying officer. Then management staff to 2 million. And then you just compare. Instead of you to engage yourself in a competition to get to that level. Auntie, what about the salary they are paying you? It's compensation for your time. That is what it is. It's compensation for your time. Nothing else will be added. Don't expect it. If it comes, appreciate it. If it doesn't come, don't expect it. Because the expectation alone, the frustration that is attached to the expectation, it cannot be quantified while you do what you're employed to do. You make yourself better. You stop thinking whether they wrote us a thank you letter, they appreciate us, or they don't. Nobody is there to. Are you a baby? You are expecting people to babysit you at work? No. Engage yourself in a holy competition, like I always say. A positive competition. Become the person that should be the one appreciating. No, sir, I don't see it that way. I'm discouraged. I want to move to so place. I say it's the same thing. That place and this place, nobody appreciates you. I want to leave this country. Go to another country. They will not appreciate you. Once they pay you, that is called compensation for your time. So the competition is for you to get better. So I asked this question. I said,
appreciate yourself.
The answer was nobody. So why do you come to work and then you base your life on appreciation rather than the goals of becoming something in life? You see? So anytime you start thinking, people need to appreciate me. My wife does not appreciate me. I buy her clothes, I buy food, she doesn't appreciate me.
So one child will just shout, hey, you spoke bad.
Yeah!
You know how they can just shout that. Bad English.
Bad guy. So you didn't know. You should know that when you bring a woman to your life, automatically she becomes your responsibility. She becomes your responsibility. Oh, okay, the children to lie down and say, you are the best daddy. Of course, if it comes, it's fine. If it doesn't come, it's your responsibility. Have you seen governors that will patch road and do documentary and put on TV? Are you okay? You do 10 kilometers. We have to be in competition. When you are in competition with the Western world that you always visit as a governor, as a state governor, you will not come and do 5-kilometer road and expect appreciation. Because they are owned everywhere. People's house, everywhere is tarred. Your own, just go around Genta and see. That's in the case of Plateau. Go to Bolari and see, in the case of Gombe. Go to Lemu Road, in the case of Kaduna. Go to all of these creeks, all of these places and see. Are the people enjoying your promised dividends of democracy? You are not in competition with any governor abroad. If I become governor today, okay, sorry, when I become governor, I would ask myself, who am I in competition? Okay, let me see how I can replicate that in my state. Do you know what? If you achieve 20% in Nigeria,
There are some governors in these countries that you ask yourself, where are they getting their own money? They are in healthy competition amongst themselves. Like there are about 3-4 governors. If you see the things they are doing in their state,
Wike,
they are commissioning
Governor
projects.
Wike, call his name. Governor Wike is working. Look at Borno State. All of these governors, they deserve.
Healthy competition will inspire you.
Governor El Rufai, when he was minister, FCT minister, he brought the FCT to the maturity of where she stands today in terms of development.
Yes.
But when he became governor in Kaduna, it was like the needle was thrown in the river. Nothing I can't see in Abuja to appreciate Abuja. In Kaduna, if you do 10 documentaries, they will not qualify for anything he did. It's the same human being. So who are you in competition with? Why are you in competition with the person?
But you kept on saying we're always in competition for all the wrong reasons. And majorly that's what really affects us, because you're in competition because you're saying, oh, this person is spending this much money, I want to spend the same money. It doesn't make sense. What I said earlier, that your skill set is not the same with that person. So when you see somebody that you admire, or somebody that is doing something that you think is, and make it and see how it will work with your own skill sets. When you do that, you grow yourself. Majorly, unhealthy competition stems from, I said yesterday, stems from low self-esteem. But a healthy competition is that you know your self-worth.
Confident.
And this unhealthy competition also is really prevalent in the Christendom. Largely prevalent in the Christendom, because a lot of us, you just see wearing this type of clothes, I have to wear the same thing, and then at the end of the day your children are not eating at home. There are some things that we just do because we are seeing this person outside doing it. We want to do it as well, so that people will see us. That's another. I don't know why I keep on going back to unhealthy. Maybe it's because they're just intertwined. It's when we do that, things like that, some things that we do, we're seeing somebody doing it and we want to do it as well as a person. It's worthy. You're just telling the whole world that I'm not worth it, so why should I stress doing me? Let me do somebody else.
Prudence, like I've worked with people that sometimes when I go back home and sit, I'll be thinking, how are they able to achieve this? Like, I've told them, I like the way you walk, I like this about you. And I look at myself, I just make some assessments. It means I can also achieve that. It means I can be better off. Like, I tell you, it's just sacrifice, determination, it's passion. Let your interest be there. And then if you love what you are doing, there's nothing that you will not like be able to put in. So let me call so that they will not be confused who I'm talking about. Like, I've seen how he works. Sometimes I personally, I just imagining, how are you able, like, somebody can be this determined to achieve.
We are
Like-
talking about it. Let's
Yes,
clap.
sir.
Somebody
We
can
are
be
laughing.
this determined to
Let's clap,
receive.
let's clap. Yes.
Can I shake it?
Can
Like,
I receive the announcement?
I've
It
been
will cost you though.
I've been motivated, like, to achieve it. Like, it's not a problem. It can only be a challenge. And even if it's a challenge, there's always a way. Sacrifice. That other time that you're thinking you don't have, just sacrifice. Like, God will take care of every other thing. And I've worked closely with people like that, and I've seen that this is what isn't healthy. We would not be sitting here. So it is important that you compel yourself to grow. Compel yourself to be better than. Just be determined, and when you are determined, you will do that. Ensure that your association are people that will push you to be better. Sometimes we want to engage in healthy competitions, but the people, your association are people that will spur you, motivate you, push you to be better.
I would have loved to say let's have last words, but it seems like our time is so fast spent. So we'll like to wrap up here. We'll be drawing the curtains. And I would just like to say one thing, that you compete to make a better version of yourself, not for any other reason, but to make a better version of yourself. And that's it on today's live today. It was lovely having you, and we would have loved to continue this thing, but we need to go. So have a blessed, beautiful day, and we appreciate you for actually staying in tune. Appreciate our crew behind the cameras, Martha, Linda, Victor, and as the editor, and the MCR, Hassan, yeah, I forgot that. Jeff too. Wow, okay, there's a whole lot of people. Well, that's it on today's live today. It was lovely, and we do hope to see you next week. Have a beautiful weekend.